How many people here would like to be a little smarter? Okay, good. So what we're going to do is a review. What's it called? Review. The way this works, I'm going to give you 8 minutes. How many minutes? 8. Because you're infinitely bright. And even though we've covered about 12 hours, 14 hours worth of material yesterday, I know you can review it in at least in 8 minutes or less. Is that true? Yes. Turn to somebody, give them a high five, say no problem. Okay, now here's how I'd like you to do it. This is just my method. Everybody please stand up. I want you to do this moving around, not sitting down. You take your notebooks and you find 2 other people. Get in groups of 3. Now, 2 other people, preferably somebody you don't know that well would be good. All right, now here's how it goes. Please listen. Please listen. What I would like you to do is with your notes and the flip charts, go through each flip chart with each other. Make sure each of you understand it. Re-explain it to each other. How did it apply? If in fact, here's the key piece. If in fact there's something you don't understand, a gap somewhere in the learning on this thing, jot it down, and then I'll do my best to answer as many questions as we can to make sure that you're clear. Make sense? Yes. Okay, you have 8 minutes. Come to the front of the room, walk around. Go. Okay. So, what I always like to do, I mean, this is actually, whenever I do multiple day programs, just as an outframe, this is my favorite time right here. Because this is a time when you really learn what the room wants to learn. Kind of my whole take on this is when we do intensives like this, and when I do longer programs for the people that are going to be selling for me and teaching other people how to sell, when we do our private, not really train the trainer, but it's a kind of a sales train the trainer type of a piece, is that what happens is I tell people this. I take your left hand. I can do this because Harv's not in the room. Okay? Because, see, I was talking to somebody this morning. Harv and I are very, very opposite. We go after the same thing, but he's very linear. I mean, he's very orderly. His business runs that way. His seminar runs that way. It's very, not scripted, but it's very much in order. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Because that's who he is. That's his strength. Yeah, I think he might be a bit auditory. I'm not sure. But he's also fairly visual. But for me, to create a plan is like pulling teeth. How many of you can relate to this? I mean, I got an agenda. Has anybody seen me look at my notes once? No. There's something over there. I haven't looked at it. But that's me. It's not for everybody. Okay? I mean, you got to know what your strength is. And so for me, this is kind of my point of view. So put your left hand out. Is you got to take all of the things that you learn, everything that you want the students or your participants to learn, you put it in there. Okay? This is your agenda. This is what? Your what? Agenda. Okay? You got to, all the games that you're going to do, put that in there. All the exercises you're going to put that in there. All the debriefs you're going to put that in there. All the data you're going to put it in there. All the context building, you're going to put that in there. All of the hour-by-hour pieces you're going to do, you put that in there. And then once you begin the program, what you do is this. After you ask about the second question, you can do this. It's because I've found in life for me that many times I have to throw away my agenda. How many know what I'm talking about? Is that you go in there, but I'll tell you what, this is pretty interesting, is that I spoke at the Direct Sellers Association conference last year in Boca Raton, which is the owners, the CEOs, CFOs of all of the largest network marketing, direct selling, party plan organizations in the world, and they meet once a year. So I was one of the keynotes. One of the other keynote speakers was Mayor Giuliani. Everybody know who I'm talking about? And it was interesting listening to him because what he said is people asked, he did a Q&A, people said, well, when 9/11 happened, how were you able to handle that so well, so calm, so seemingly under control? And he said, preparation. You know, what do you mean preparation? He goes, well, look. He goes, We, in the city of New York, he said, we drilled for everything. I mean, every disaster could hit New York. Earthquakes, fires, tidal waves, lethal gas, nuclear holocaust, the whole thing. He says, but you know the one thing we never thought of? Planes crashing into buildings. He says, but what happened was, he said, because we prepared so hard for every eventuality we could think of, even though we got hit with something we had no clue how to handle going in, everybody snapped into place. So when I say throw away the agenda, that doesn't mean you don't create an agenda. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, but the beauty of because you prepared, then whatever eventuality comes up, you're able to deal with it. That's the same thing I teach in sales with handling objections. But the bottom line is that for me, I love this part of the program because at this part, there's no agenda. It's basically what's going on for you guys, which is fun. If you understand the debriefing model that we talked about, if you understand all the things we talked about, I want you to not only answer questions, but have you understand how this process works. So, in light of that, any what? Or